Hey everyone, welcome back to Olinsi Traveling. If you're new here, this channel is all about real truck driver life across the US and Canada. I show you truck stops, parking situations, and what to expect before you pull in. If that helps you on the road, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and let's roll. Today we're in St. Joseph, Missouri at Love's Travel Stop, and this is one of those locations where timing can really change your experience. It sits right along I-29, which is a major route for freight moving north and south through the Midwest, so right away, you're dealing with steady traffic, not just trucks, but also cars, local drivers, and travelers passing through. The entrance itself is fairly straightforward, but because of the volume, you want to stay alert coming in. There's a constant flow of trucks entering and exiting, especially during peak hours, so it's one of those places where you take your time and read the movement before committing to your turn. Alright, let's get into the most important part, truck parking. This location has a decent number of spaces, and at first glance it looks like you shouldn't have too much trouble finding a spot. But once you spend a little time here, you realize it's not just about the number of spots, it's about timing and flow. During the day, parking is pretty manageable, trucks are coming and going, and you can usually find something without too much stress. The layout is familiar, standard Love style, angled spots, clear lanes, nothing confusing. Backing in here is not overly difficult, but you still need to stay focused. It's not super tight, but it's also not one of those wide open new locations, where you can take it easy. Now, once you move into the evening hours, that's when things start to change. Spots fill up quickly, and you'll start seeing trucks circling the lot looking for anything open. At that point, it becomes more about patience than anything else. You might find yourself doing a loop or two, waiting for someone to pull out, and when a spot does open, you've got to be ready to take it. Another thing to keep in mind is spacing. When the lot fills up, not every truck is perfectly lined up. You may get tighter gaps, slightly off-angle parking, and less room to work with when backing in. That's where experience comes in. If you're comfortable with your truck and used to working in tighter environments, you'll be fine. Just take your time, set yourself up properly, and don't rush the maneuver. But if you're newer or already tired at the end of your shift, this is the kind of place where things can feel a bit more stressful, especially with other drivers moving around you. One good strategy here is to arrive earlier if you can. Even an hour or two makes a difference between choosing your spot and taking whatever's left. Quick question for you. Would you rather stop early and lock in a parking spot? Or push your clock and risk it later hoping something opens up? Drop your answer in the comments. I know drivers are split on this one. Alright, let's move over to the fuel islands. This is where a busy location like this really shows how well it's set up, or not. At first glance, the setup here is pretty standard for a Love's. You've got multiple diesel lanes, high flow pumps, and DEF available right at the pump, which makes things easier when you're trying to get in and out without wasting time. During normal hours, the flow is actually pretty smooth. Trucks pull in, fuel up, and move out without too much delay. The spacing between lanes is decent, not overly tight, so you're not constantly worried about clipping mirrors or dealing with awkward angles. But like everything at this stop, timing changes the experience. When it gets busy, especially late afternoon into evening, the fuel island becomes one of the most active areas on the property. You'll see trucks lined up waiting for an open lane, others finishing fueling, and sometimes drivers taking longer than expected before pulling forward. That's when things can slow down a bit. It's not chaotic, but you do need patience. Another thing to keep in mind here is courtesy. At busy stops like this, the whole system only works if drivers stay efficient, fuel, pull forward, and keep the lane open for the next truck. When that doesn't happen, you start to see backups form pretty quickly. From a driving perspective, maneuvering through the fuel area is manageable, but you still want to stay alert. With constant movement, trucks pulling in, pulling out, switching lanes, it's one of the areas where awareness really matters. Lighting around the fuel islands is generally better than in parking areas, so visibility isn't a major issue, even at night. Now let's take a look at everything outside of the truck side, because this stop isn't just for drivers running big rigs. Starting with car parking. There's a separate area for cars, which helps keep things a bit more organized. You don't have smaller vehicles mixing directly into truck parking, and that's always a good thing. That said, this is still a busy location, so even the car side can fill up during peak hours. You'll see a mix of local drivers, road trippers, and people just stopping in for fuel or food. The layout is fairly simple, nothing confusing, but because of the constant movement, you still want to stay aware when driving through. Cars moving in and out, people walking across the lot, it's active. For RV travelers, this stop works as a quick and practical stop. You've got easy access from the highway, space to fuel, room to move through the lot. It's not a full RV resort or campground, so you're not getting hookups or long-term stay options, but for fuel, food, and a short break, it does the job. If you're running cross-country in an RV, this is the kind of place you'd use to reset quickly and keep going. Like most Love's locations, you've got quick and convenient options right inside. This is more about efficiency than variety. You're grabbing something fast and getting back on the road. You'll usually find hot food options, sandwiches, snacks, coffee and drinks. It's not a sit-down restaurant experience, but after long miles, having everything in one place is what matters. And because this location stays busy, food turnover is generally good. Things don't sit around too long. During peak times, you might deal with short lines, but nothing too unusual for a stop like this. If you're traveling with a pet, there's also a designated dog area. It's a simple setup, a place to let your dog out, stretch, and take a quick break. Nothing fancy, but it gets the job done. And honestly, when you're on the road for long hours, even a basic dog area makes a difference. It gives both you and your pet a chance to reset before getting back behind the wheel. You'll usually see a few drivers using it, especially during longer stops. When you stop like this, do you actually take time to eat and rest? Or are you just fuel and go? Be honest, are you the quick stop type or the take a break type? Drop it in the comments. From a real road perspective, this is the kind of stop you rely on. It's not about experience or atmosphere, it's about reliability. You know what you're getting. Fuel, food, a place to stop, basic comfort, and sometimes, that's exactly what you need. And one more. When you're choosing a stop, what matters more to you? Better food, easier parking, or just quick in and out access? I'm curious what you prioritize out there. Alright, let's step inside and see what this location offers beyond parking and fuel. Right away, the store has that familiar Love's feel, bright, organized, and built for quick movement. Even though this is a busy stop, everything is laid out in a way that makes it easy to find what you need without wasting time. You walk in, and it's active, steady flow of drivers, people grabbing food, coffee, or just taking a break from the road. One thing you notice here is that despite the traffic, the place stays fairly clean. Floors, counters, restrooms, it's maintained well, especially considering how many people come through daily. That's always a big plus. because not every busy stop keeps up with that. Showers are available here, and for a busy location, they're kept in decent condition. Depending on timing, you might have to wait a bit, especially in the evening when more drivers are shutting down. But overall, it's a reliable place to clean up and reset. That's something drivers really value, not luxury, just consistency. Now, one useful thing about this location, there are hotels nearby. For drivers who are taking a longer break, or for anyone traveling with family, having a hotel close by adds flexibility. Instead of staying in the truck, you've got the option to get a proper room, rest, and reset. And because it's right off the highway near the truck stop, it's easy to access without going far off your route. That's something not every stop offers, so it's definitely a plus here. When you stop at a place like this, do you actually go inside and take a break? Or do you stay in the truck and just keep it moving? Let me know how you usually do it. What stands out here is that this stop works for multiple types of travelers at the same time. You've got truck drivers, car travelers, RVs, people with pets, and even though it's busy, the layout keeps things functional. It's not a luxury stop, it's a working stop. Everything is built around convenience, speed, getting you back on the road. Alright, that's Loves in St. Joseph, Missouri. If you've been here before, drop your experience in the comments, especially how parking was for you. If you enjoy real truck stop reviews, like, comment, subscribe to Olinsi Traveling. More stops across the US and Canada coming your way. Drive safe, and I'll see you at the next stop.